Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. We'll just chant the fourth chapter till where we have reached before we get into the text. So all of us who have the Bhagavad Gita can chant. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता चतुर्थोऽध्यायः. श्रीभगवानुवाच इमं विवस्वते योगं प्रोक्तवानहमव्ययं विवस्वान्मनवे प्राह मनुरिक्ष्वाकवे ब्रवीत्. एवं परम्परा प्राप्तम् इमं राजर्षयो विदुः सकाले नेह महता योगो नष्टः परन्तप. स एवायं मया तेद्य योगः प्रोक्तः पुरातनः भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यं ह्येतदुत्तमम्. अर्जुन उवाच अपरं भवतो जन्म परं जन्म विवस्वतः कथमेतद्विजानीयाम् त्वमादौ प्रोक्तवानिति. श्रीभगवानुवाच बहूनि मे व्यतीतानि जन्मानि तव चार्जुन तान्यहं वेद सर्वाणि न त्वं वेत्थ परन्तप. अजोऽपि सन्नव्ययात्मा भूतानामीश्वरोऽपि सन् प्रकृतिं स्वामधिष्ठाय सम्भवाम्यात्ममायया यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. आप लोगों ने चाय बनानी है? परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. जन्म कर्म च मे दिव्यम् एवं यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः त्यक्त्वा देहं पुनर्जन्म नैति मामेति सोऽर्जुन. वीतरागभयक्रोधः मन्मया मामुपाश्रिताः बहवो ज्ञानतपसा पूता मद्भावमागताः ये यथा मां प्रपद्यन्ते तांस्तथैव भजाम्यहम् मम वर्त्मानुवर्तन्ते मनुष्याः पार्थ सर्वशः काङ्क्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं यजन्त इह देवताः क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्मविभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्य कर्तारमव्ययम् न मां कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति न मे कर्मफले स्पृहा इति मां योऽभिजानाति कर्मभिर्न स बध्यते एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् त्वं पूर्वैः पूर्वतरं कृतं किं कर्म किमकर्मेति कवयोऽप्यत्र मोहिताः तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात् कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यं गहना कर्मणो गतिः कर्मण्यः कर्म यः पश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृत्स्न कर्म कृत् Om Tat Sat. So we did it till here. Let's get back to the text. So we were on this segment yesterday. Understanding reality requires thinking. The meaning of Buddhiman is something like that of Dhanavan, a rich person, as we said before. To have money does not mean that you are a rich person. Only if you have money to give are you a rich person. A man who has money to spend on himself and on others when necessary is a rich man. Whereas a man with money who does not think he has enough to spend on himself or for a cause is simply a moneyed man. He is not a rich man. The difference between a moneyed person and a rich person is important to understand. The rich person is one who feels rich. We should underline that. A man who has only a rupee in his pocket and gives it to someone who has not eaten for 2 days is a rich man because although he had so little, he had money to spare. He has no money, but he is rich. He is ready to spend. Whereas another man may have millions of rupees and may not be able to spend it on himself or on others. Such a person is moneyed but not rich. In other words, a miser, kripana.
Similarly, in the Brihadaranyaka Yajnavalkya tells Gargi, the one who dies not knowing Brahman is a miser. Why is he or she considered a miser? Because the person had an intellect that he or she never used. Just as money is of no use to a person who will not spend it, what is the use of having an intellect if you cannot or will not use it? I just read the shloka one more time of what Yajnavalkya says to Gargi in the Brihadaranyaka Yo va etadaksharam Gargi aviditva asman lokat praiti sakripanaha अथ यः एतदक्षरं गार्गी विदित्वा अस्मान् लोकात् प्रैति स ब्राह्मणः. What distinct and clear definitions of a kripana and a brahmana. It's good for us to remember this so that it reminds us to use our intellect and not be a kripana. Similarly, one who has a buddhi and does not spend it is also a miser. Such a person uses as little intellect as possible, keeping it as it is. A man may exercise his intellect just a little to learn something in order to please his parents. He may even get a job, but that is the maximum he is willing to use his intellect for. He does not read anything, not even the newspaper. He sits staring at the TV without using his intellect at all. Why should he use it for this kind of life? He need not use it at all. No real thinking is ever done by such a person. In reference to this, what Gurudev spoke about, very powerful statement he gave about the art of living. He says, if you are after pleasure, then there is no satsang. There's no meaning of satsang. Or let me just read what he said.
If you are only pleasures, if you are only into sense, this is not the place. Art of living is not the place for you.
I shared it on my. Okay. It's gone. I had put it up on my updates, but just 1 second. Yeah, the mind that seeks. 1 second. The mind that seeks pleasure can never achieve the highest. If you are after pleasure, forget about satsang. Why are you wasting your time? This is the art of living. So the mind that seeks pleasure can never achieve the highest. So the Purushartha should be clear in our mind. And here, in this context, it is using our intellect. using our intellect to the fullest. So one who has a buddhi and does not spend it is also a miser. Such a person uses as little intellect as possible, keeping it as it is. A man may exercise his intellect just a little to learn something in order to please his parents. He may even get a job, but that is the maximum he's willing to use his intellect for. If you're able to relate this to what we are doing in Art of Living, there are so many things that Gurudev has given us. Maybe there are some who are just happy doing a little bit of yoga and that's it. Some go a little further, learn Sudarshan Kriya. Just practice it, that's it. But is that sufficient? So it is like this. He might, in order to please his, not just to please his parents, but just to please himself, saying, oh, I'm doing something positive, which is good, not that it is not good. But is that sufficient? He may even get a job, but that is the maximum he's willing to use his intellect for. He does not read anything, not even the newspaper. Gurudev has given us so many things. He's given us a whole gamut of equipment. He's given us celebration, singing, wisdom, practices. So he sits staring at the TV without using his intellect at all. Those who do the happiness program. Is it enough if we just practice the Sudarshan Kriya? Eventually, yes. With awareness, slowly, even the knowledge will start seeping in. Yes, but actively, we will have to use this knowledge that we have, right? All the 5 aspects. Why should he use it? For this kind of life, he need not use it at all. No real thinking is ever done by such a person. So unless we actively incorporate the knowledge that we have learned, integrate it into our lives, it will only remain a concept. Armchair Vedantins. This has to seep in deep within. And that this awareness should be so strong and the urge that Purushartha, moksho me bhuyat iti tivra ichha. And Patanjali Maharshi also says there are 3 different categories of seekers. Mridu, Madhyama and Tivra. Just like how Gurudev talks about the ocean being available for everyone. It depends on how much you want of the ocean. So this knowledge is there. Vedanta is there for everyone, but how much of it are we exploring? Are we incorporating in our lives? Real thinking is thinking about realities. Because you are dealing with reality, there must be thinking. Otherwise, you are dealing only with shadows. If the realities are not known, you may be fighting in areas where no fighting is required. One who thinks about the fundamental reality of himself, the world, and God, who knows what it is all about, is a buddhiman. This person is rich. He or she has an intellect to use and to spare. The buddhiman has used the buddhi for himself or herself and shares the knowledge gained with others. The beautiful analogy of buddhiman and dhanavan, right? So let's do some manana on this because these are important takeaways for us as sadhaks. I know we had some discussion yesterday, but let's share it one more time so that we integrate it into our lives.
Can someone cultivate this being Dhanwan or Buddhiman? It comes with the swabhava, right?
Yeah, but
Can someone
you can with your purushartha, look at all the examples of where,
By grace also it can happen.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can go on the path. Otherwise, there will be no choice.
Mm.
Same life to lifetime, it will happen. Otherwise, there are choices. Guru comes in your life and then the path changes.
When you're in this path, you don't have to cultivate automatically. By nature, you will get it, all these things. All this dharma living comes to you naturally.
correct? No, what I meant was who is not like the child who is forced by parents to study. This cannot be forcefully uh, taught to someone. I mean, you cannot teach and the person starts behaving that way. This is what I meant. A person who is a miser, unless he has some experiences, he will not change. As this is what is my experience in life. A person who is a miser, he may not listen to you and then become a rich person. Like he will spend and all. Unless he gets the experience himself, he will not change because the way he is behaving because he feels that's the right thing.
Which is true.
Those
So,
who don't, sorry,
yeah, please go ahead.
I thought those who cannot spend on themselves also and others also are miser. So it require a lot of compassion to spend on others, to take care of others, and that integration in your life. These are my part. This is my family. Then it may change. The big mind should say them, we are all one. And the Buddhiman will use his intellect. How much it will help by spending to others. And again, the grace will come back, no? So we will get more. Means not, I'm not making a, means by giving, we will get like, that's why we are giving. That's not the thinking I'm thinking. But when we give, we get more.
Why think about others? Let's think about ourselves. Have we changed, say, 5 years ago to what we are now? Has there been a change? Are we more, um, are we using the intellect more than we did 5 years back? And the answer is right, isn't it? There has been some change in the way we look at life. It is not the same. So, although on this path, there are some things that come because you're onto the path. Why is moksha given a status of a purushartha? Is because it depends upon your that free will is required there. One is destiny and the other is free will. Your swabhava could be your destiny. That is how you're born with, or with your nature. But you have your free will, you have the choice. And that choice requires a persistent effort on your part, that viveka and vairagya together in order to make a decision rather than just be carried away by your swabhava. You're directing it based on your free will. And that, if it's backed by an intellect which is sharp, then life takes a beautiful turn. Take the same situation where there is a person who is a situation where, what should I give example? A situation where there are two people who are, arguing with each other, and one is hurling insults, or I'm not sure that this is the right example. But then, supposing there is this situation where there is some negativity between the two. Now, the same situation, both in the first instance, they are both not onto the path. So they both leave feeling distasteful about each other. Whereas the second situation, one is not on the path, but the other one has started on the path and is exposed to this knowledge and is using that. Those, just take those 5 principles of art of living that are taught in the happiness program. So if this the second instance, the person who is exposed to this knowledge is using it, then the same situation where initially the first instance, both of them left with a negative feeling. But in the second situation, although one person might be feeling negative about it, the person who has this knowledge and is using it, what is his state of mind? His or her state of mind is rich, isn't it? He's utilized his intellect, he's utilized the knowledge, he's accepted that person. He's not seen an intention. Only compassion comes out of him. He is not flustered. He or she is not flustered, is centered. So, using this, and this has happened to all of us in some measure or other, isn't it? It is only dependent on how much each one uses this. Are we just keeping it in the shelf of the mind, in the library of the mind, with just some concepts and some statements? Or are we utilizing it? And it has been my experience. You may have all this knowledge, but then there are some situations where you don't really use them. And then you get back to your original pre knowledge, self, like in the first instance. Sometimes we are overtaken by emotion. And we have seen with respect to the gunas, sattva, rajas, tamo gunas. When sattva is predominant, rajas takes a second seat. Tamas is the last. But when rajas takes predominance, sattva takes a back seat. That is when your knowledge, clarity go down. It is your desire that is overpowering you. Desire and the horde of negative distortions that come with it, all the shad ripus that come with desire. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. It's a very dynamic thing. And unless we make that effort has to be there from our part. And then, like someone shared, you need to have Guru Kripa, Shastra Kripa, and Atma Kripa. So when all these are working, then there is beautiful evolution. So I think it's not just the Swabhava. Swabhava, of course, has an effect, but your free will also has a major part in converting a Kripana into a Buddhiman. Otherwise, we don't need to be talking and spending time reading, listening, and understanding Vedanta, isn't it? So, um, yeah, any more sharing before we go further?
Just one point more, like if talking of a buddhiman, as we are discussing, so he should have that he has that non-doership, but apart from that, like he has that samatva bhav. So when he sees that atma in everyone is the same, so his behavior is not as that of a person who is not a buddhiman. So seeing Atma in everyone, having that awareness every time of the, like every second, he it as if it is indwelled in you. You don't have to remind yourself again and again. It is like it has seeped in you that everyone is the same Atma, same. It's only that that the prarabdha, or maybe the tattva which we are born with, they are all different for different persons. So the person is acting according to that, and with which tattva he is made of. Like you said, sattva, rajas, and tamas. So that point, that don't see the intention behind, or we can say like accepting as it is. So all these basic happiness program points, they are very deep, as you rightly said, Dr. Brahma. So making this I'll not say the habit, it's like that that virtue of samatva is, it comes, I think it comes very slowly with time, and it's like an evolutionary thing happening on a very subtle stage, very slow. Initially, like we react much more, and then that reaction stops because somewhere there is some evolution happening. So, yeah, this is just what I wanted to share.
Very
And
nice.
yeah, so nice, Didi. And one thing more that Didi was asking, can it be acquired to be from miser to becoming rich? So,
Yeah.
so that I think, of course, yes, but uh, being in knowledge and being doing the karma yoga, slowly that veil of ignorance, when it falls down, we will automatically from miser get into the zone of being rich. For like Didi was saying, na, if we are forcing a child to study, but that way we cannot force, of course we cannot force, but we can always direct. Maybe like for children at home, we can just tell them, because they don't know what to do, so we can tell them, okay, or we can like instill some sanskars in them. Okay, as now that you are earning, spend some money in giving, or like to poor, or what, in whichever way you want to do charity, just do some charity from your earning. So those seeds we will be instilling in them, and being example ourselves, maybe someday something will sprout, and they get converted, the people around us, maybe they get converted from miser to rich, uh, in whichever form they are looking for. So just wanted to add that. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
He nowadays Gurudev, constantly is repeating that ये शरीर नश्वर है. So we are thinking that we are going to be here forever. That's why the transformation is not happening. Once we know that our life is so, anytime we may just go. So that understanding comes naturally, everything will fall in place.
Yeah. So, and also bringing people to knowledge. That's what we are doing in Art of Living, sharing our experiences and trying to bring people to knowledge, so that, they can also become rich in all the forms, not only from miser to rich, but otherwise in all the forms, open up, blossom themselves. So nice.
See, it
Just
occurred to me
beautiful
very,
knowledge.
Yeah.
Jai
Um,
Gurudev. Uh, when the priorities, like when we look at our dharma, artha, kama, moksha, when the priority, the sequence is like moksha first, and then dharma, and then artha and kama, when the sequence changes, I think automatically the um, that priority changes. And in the eyes of worldly people, we may be foolish, but we know that I'm just talking about myself, because when you are behaving with all samatva and everything, the people, the worldly people may think that she's foolish, like she has no interest in social interactions and the superficial relationship. So you may be a kind of foolish in the eyes of those who are having a different perspective, but you know yourself from within. And the priority is like when moksha is your priority, then you will not get entangled in those silly things. I hope I'm not able to express fully,
no,
but
you've expressed yourself well, Leela. I
yeah,
think all of us
because
can relate to that. Yeah.
yeah, when we stay alone, no, when we say stay in Dubai and other places, we have very less interaction. But when you are in real Kurukshetra, when you are here in India, you are tested everywhere from each and every angle, and there your real knowledge, how much you are implementing, how much Gita has gone through you, that is tested. And the real test ground, I believe, is when you are interacting and when you are with the world, whether it is your own family or the outside people.
That's very
So,
nicely said. Kurukshetra. India is a Kurukshetra.
yes, Jai Gurudev. We are very lucky to have this knowledge and the grace of Gurudev. Yeah.
Very, very beautiful. That is why karma yoga is important. That is why Krishna has goaded Arjuna to act and not to take sannyasa. If he had asked him to take sannyasa, okay, fine, correct, knowledge is important, go to Rishikesh and sit. Would he have got rid of all his raga, dveshas and all inside? It is only when you act, only when you're out there doing what is to be done. And when you rightly pointed out, it's only when you are in situations where you're going to deal with several people that it's a laboratory over there where you can put to use. It's a practical. See, we learn theory in the classroom. It is only in the laboratory we go and actually practically look at how those chemical reactions take place. That's exactly what happens.
And
So,
going further, apply in the life. It's not only
yes,
saying it in lab. You apply it in life. Like if you have created any medication, to use it in your real life.
yeah.
That is, yeah.
With respect to this Purushartha and with respect to what Gurudev talked about, going after pleasure and not able to seek the highest when you're after pleasure. See, and then how we go every child to study and learn. See, education has become a basic necessity. Everybody puts their kids to school. They go through kindergarten, primary, middle, and high school, university. But is everybody becoming uh, um, using the intellect that they have to the highest? There are some who settle down, they just drop off school after the 10th. But some go further. Some become gems in the sense they have utilized their their education to the highest. So similarly, over here, it depends to the extent we are using our intellect, to the extent we are thinking about realities. So that is what is mentioned here. Real thinking is thinking about realities.
Yeah, even this example of our group also.
Mm,
I mean, many people had interest, so they joined the group. But as you said, that free will is used by only few people. Come
yeah,
what may, you come for the class. So that itself shows how buddhiman we are.
yeah.
I meant it in a lighter way, but yeah,
Okay.
but you people are definitely.
I know, but see, having come to the class does not automatically make each of us buddhiman. To a certain extent, yes, compared to people who are who choose to do things differently. Correct, you are a shade better, but is that enough?
Not,
Using this
yeah,
Shravana, Manana, and Nididhyasana,
that's
that
right.
completes the cycle, right? Then it is knowledge is you're able to reach that fulfillment,
Correct.
attain fulfillment. It's not to put down anyone's enthusiasm or dhriti over here. It's very great that even that need and that the the commitment to stay put. That is why remember China had mentioned initially, he said dhriti is very, very important on this path. It's very easy to get carried away by the world outside, but when you have that dhriti, that commitment,
Oh, dhriti is commitment, is it?
dhriti is staying steadfast on the path.
Hmm.
It is connected to buddhi also, buddhiman.
Hmm.
There, Dhriti also Bhagwan will explain in further chapters.
Right.
Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. It's so beautiful. Bhagwan has. He's really a psychiatrist who
Hmm.
treats everything in with a very beautifully. So there also it is so important to have Sattvic Dhriti.
Very true. That's why Bhagavad Gita is supposed to be a book of life. It tells you how to deal with people, how to deal with yourself. It's a complete book, manual for life. That should not be just like how Prem keeps saying. It should not be just kept in the puja room and, offered prayers. Every page has to be digested, understood, and applied. That application. When you apply it, then you're being a buddhiman, you're being a dhanavan and not a kripana. So, one who thinks about the fundamental reality of himself, the world, and God, who knows what it is all about, is a buddhiman. This person is rich. He or she has an intellect to use and to spare. The buddhiman has used the buddhi for himself or herself and shares the knowledge gained with others. Look at Gurudev. There is no stone he has left unturned. He's reached out to all sections of society. And he continues to do that at 70 years. He's been doing that ever since he started, even before he started, probably. But officially, having a framework started about 45 years ago. Similarly, I remember Sejal Didi, when we did an advanced course, she said, See, when you share knowledge with others, rather than sit and gossip about this person and that person, generally, when few people meet, friends meet, there is time spent gossiping. Gossiping is very attractive in a way because it seems very juicy, but then she said, share knowledge, knowledge that will uplift one another. So this Buddhiman has used the Buddhi for himself or herself and shares the knowledge gained with others. Thus, in this verse, Krishna is saying that among the people, all of whom have buddhis, this person is the only one who is wise. Saha buddhiman manushyeshu. Just as some people have money without being rich, some people have buddhis without being wise. The buddhiman, however, is a yogi, a kritsna karma krit, one who has done all that is to be done. By discovering the Atma to be Akarta, the wise person has completely destroyed all the karmas.
Can you read that last sentence again?
Yeah.
Krishna.
So, the Buddhiman, however, is a yogi, a kritsna karma krit, one who has done all that is to be done. By discovering the Atma to be Akarta, the wise person has completely destroyed all the karmas. The self being full, Purna, there is nothing more for this person to do at any time. The self as Akarta is not a sometime affair. Once the self is known to be Akarta, it will never become Karta again. When we say Atma is Asanga, we mean that it is free from being a Karta and Bhokta, which means it is free from Sukha and Dukkha, Samsara. When it is said that Atma is always Ananda, it means that Atma is Purna, full, limitless. This knowledge makes a person a Kritsna Karma Krit. Everything that is to be done has been done in one stroke. Nothing needs to be done for the person to be happy. Whatever karmas the person had to fulfill by taking many births have all been fulfilled. All karma has been completely taken care of. Any activity he or she undertakes later is born of joy, not for gaining some security and happiness. The person may continue to do the same thing he or she did before. What one does not alter the fact that one is a karta. He may be a fisherman, he may be a butcher, he may be anyone. He may continue to do what he's doing, but the moment he realizes this, a person becomes a kritsna karma krit. So what one does not alter the fact that one is a karta. That is why you have enlightened masters in all strata, in all the so-called divisions, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Sudra. Brahmanas, of course, we have all the, take Gurudev, for example. Kshatriya, we have King Janaka. Vaishya, I can't remember any example. But Shudra, we have Kabir Das. There's so many people who are born in a low, so-called low caste, but have attained enlightenment, have are enlightened.
Valmiki also, right?
Valmiki. And like Chayana said, he gave an example, if I remember right, about a person having a small tea stall. He was enlightened. So it does not matter what you are doing. What matters is what is the state of your mind. What you're doing, is it born of joy, or are you doing it for joy, for gaining some security? So once one realizes that I am Purna, I am complete, I am Ananda, and that happens with one stroke of knowledge, that Brahmastra. When that Brahmastra of Tattvamasi strikes one, a prepared mind again, so that for the preparation, we require to live a life of karma yoga, getting rid of all our ragas and dveshas. And vita raga bhaya krodha. So when the stage is set, that Brahmastra of that knowledge, that Shabda Pramana that comes and hits one, that stroke, he is a Kritsna Karma Krit. It makes a person a Kritsna Karma Krit. He's done everything that is to be done. So whether he does or not doesn't matter. He may continue to live in the world like how we have Gurudev doing all what he does. Or he may just be a recluse like Ramana Maharshi, who did nothing much. He just sat in silence, who did not even encourage questions. He would just say, who is the one asking the question? So we have different cadres of enlightened people. Not everyone is the same, but still they were enlightened. So we cannot gauge and judge this person is enlightened because he has to fit into this idea of my enlightenment. No. So as long as there is a doer, a karta, there is action, even in so-called inaction. A wise person, a buddhiman, is able to see this. Because I am not doing anything also implies a karta. Both karma and akarma become karma in the vision of the wise. Wherever there is doership, there is always some action or the other. Therefore, everything becomes action, be it action or inaction. I'll repeat this para again. As long as there is a doer, a karta, there is action, even in so-called inaction. A wise person, a buddhiman, is able to see this. Because I am not doing anything also implies a karta. Both karma and akarma become karma in the vision of the wise. Wherever there is doership, there is always some action or the other. Therefore, everything becomes action, be it action or inaction. So the verse, karmanyah karmayah paschet, akarmani cha karmayah. So he is able to see action in inaction. And he sees inaction, which is akartritva, in action. The buddhiman is also able to see akarma in both karma and akarma because for such a person, there is no doership in the self. Atmani kartritva abhava. He or she knows that while karta, the doer, is non-separate from the self is not the doer. Because the person has this knowledge, he or she is said to be wise among human beings and is described as one who has done everything that is to be done, without exception. Saha buddhiman manushyeshu saha kritsna karma krita. So the buddhiman is able to see Karma in both karma and akarma. That is on one side. When, where, how, when there is doership. Similarly, the Buddhiman is also able to see akarma in both karma and akarma from the standpoint of non-doership. Because for such a person, there is no doership in the self. Atmani kartritva abhava. He or she knows that while karta, the doer, is non-separate from the self is not the doer. Ego is the self, but the self is not the ego. Because the person has this knowledge, he or she is said to be wise among human beings and is described as one who has done everything that is to be done without exception. Saha buddhiman manusheshu, saha kritsna karma krita. We'll stop here. We have about a few minutes. So let's reflect upon this and actually use our intellect. I'm saying it in the lighter vein, but let's all share. See, when we share, only then will the Shravana translate into Manana. It may be right, it may be wrong, but what our understanding is, if we express it, then there's a possibility of, of clarifying in this group. Chayana's favorite shloka.
You know, in a way, we can say that all the teachers out here are wise, rich, because it's through their intellect they are sharing the knowledge. Obviously, the path shown by Gurudev. So that I wanted to just say my views.
Yeah.
I mean, clapping for all the teachers out here.
See, each one of us is a teacher, whether we are labeled a teacher or not. We have the capability of being a teacher by role modeling what we have learned, isn't it? That way, what is that? Dattatreya, in I think the story of in the Datta Charitra, there are how many? 24 teachers that the person that Dattatreya picks up. Every aspect of creation actually is teaching us. Similarly, when we role model this, we become teachers ourselves.
Yes.
So it's with respect to kartritva and akartritva. When there is doership, there is karma in both karma and so-called akarma, action and inaction, because the doership is there. Whereas when you're from the standpoint of non-doership, there is akarma in both karma and akarma, both action and inaction. You only see actionlessness. We'll take this up further tomorrow. We'll stop here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.